Great. Well, then we'll get started. We're just as a reminder, we're a new club. We want to get to know one another, and so the first Wednesday of the next couple of months, we are inviting ourselves to tell one another who we are and what's important to us. And it can be about interests. It could be anything. And we've done this once before, and I found it so gratifying. And so I'm really, really looking forward to today. We have three speakers today: Cathy Smith, Kirk Anderson, and Karen Osbog. Cathy, I'm going to have you go first. And you know what? I know we try to end at 5:30, so I might do a thumbs up or make some kind of some scene on my screen, so you'll know that it might be time to wrap up. How's that?
Perfect. I'm going to try and make it quick anyway, because I'd like to try to catch the 5:30 news tonight.
Okay.
And you can see maybe that this is not normally me. I'm a little bit of a mess. I stayed home and did gardening all day, so didn't get time to get in the shower before our meeting. So you should thank your lucky stars. You only see me with my hair flat after hat hair all day, and you don't have to smell me. So I'm Cathy Smith. I thought I'd just start with personal. I was born in 1955 in Rockford, Illinois, but moved to Minnesota very quickly afterwards. Grew up with 4 brothers and 1 sister in Roseville. And at that time, on a street with 6 houses, with a Black family, a lesbian couple, a Native American family, and 2 other families. And it wasn't until much later in life that I realized we were experiencing diversity at a pretty young age, which kind of, I think, helped guide me through a lot of different periods of time. Went to Totino Grace High School in Fridley. And when I graduated from high school, my only ambition was to make enough money to play softball 2 nights a week and on the weekends and live outside my house. So a year after I graduated, I stumbled into the roofing industry, answered an ad to answer phones, and loved it. It fit in really well, and just started to learn the job from the ground up. And 45 years later, I'm still in the roofing industry and kind of making a turn. I'm going part-time next year and starting to let somebody else take the reins a little bit. People ask me what's changed in the roofing industry in all those years. We do commercial work, no residential, so it's all commercial buildings. When people ask me what's changed, I say we became mechanized. And that changed a lot because when we became mechanized, it took a lot of wear and tear off the guys. And so when I started in the industry, nobody retired from roofing. They died before they retired. They just got so beat up. And back claims, strains were big issues. And we became self-insured in 1980. And so really being mindful of keeping the guys safer became much more of a focus. The second thing was the CYA. Everybody in the industry, everybody in the commercial construction industry is trying to push liability off to everybody else. And so I got a legal education over the years because we had to be very mindful of what signing contracts and correspondence and what we did and how we did it and what we said and who said what became a very important thing. So last year we did the largest roof in Minnesota, 26 acres up in Thief River Falls, a company called DigiKey. And when we got the job, it's an $8 million roof. And when we got the job, my boss said, we got to figure a lot of things out up there. And I said, well, I already looked it up and they have a Rotary Club up there. So I probably could go up there and visit the Rotary Club and get some lowdown on where we can stay and how we're going to operate up there. So when do you want me to go? And he said, when's their next meeting? So I went up there that following Tuesday. And as luck would have it, the first person I met in the meeting was the CEO of DigiKey, the new CEO, who happened to be there that day because the speaker that day was the former CEO, the man who started the business and ran it up until 2 years ago. So I got a chance to hear the history of DigiKey and how it became the fourth largest distributor of mechanical and technology parts in the world in Thief River Falls, Minnesota. So that great Rotary connection that happens. A little bit about my Rotary. I've been just so darn blessed in my Rotary career. Started, of course, at the club. I was in the Fridley Club, joined in 1989. I was club president in 99, 2000, no, 98, 99. 98, 99. While I had a youth exchange student living with me, and I hosted the GSE team that year. And the second half of my year as club president, I was an assistant governor. So it was a little nutty. But that led me on to become our first female governor in the district in 03, 04, which took me into just a whole different arena. I was an international trainer in 2006, where Rotary brings together the 530 incoming governors to go through training. Most of it's facilitated. The following year, they invite 13 of them back. I was fortunate enough to be one of the ones that was invited back. You're only allowed to do it twice. The second year, you act as a mentor. So that was just, I consistently say that was as close as I'll ever get to a United Nations experience, because it's one thing to go to that training as a governor. It's another thing to be a trainer, because the diverse, first of all, when you go as a governor, it's overwhelming. Everybody says it's not going to be, they're prepared for it. When you get there, you're dealing with 530 incoming governors from around the world, different cultures, different thought processes, different languages. It's an incredible experience. Being a trainer was really a cool experience and leads you down a whole bunch of different paths. So people connect with you. They invite you as president's rep. They want you to come in to their district, which I say that's my only claim to fame. I will never be a movie star, but at one time I was a Rotary somebody and it was a really cool experience. I've been involved with the International Vision Facilitation Committee since its inception. I'm in charge of curriculum, and we're just doing a curriculum update right now because we've just started doing virtual visioning for clubs. If you're not familiar with visioning, we train facilitators to take clubs through a look out 3 years from now to see who and what they can be in so many different arenas, to give them a plan to follow in that 3 years. And it's been really exciting. It's been a lot of fun. I've trained a lot of facilitators around the country. So that's been one of my big Rotary passions. Second, I've been to Nicaragua 11 times, I think. We started an initiative down there to see if we could deliver service in a different way. And I always say in a nutshell, could we build relationships before we started building stuff? It's a slower process, but it kind of goes to that thought process about, can we understand culture before we start trying to assist somebody in bettering their life? And we think it should make a difference. And it's been a slower process than we thought. A lot of bumps in the road, but it's been fascinating. I feel like I've gotten a master's degree in community organization through that process. I've been a youth exchange mother 3 times, Northern Ireland, Poland, and Norway. And I have gobs of youth exchange stories that I love to tell. One of my favorites was my Norwegian daughter. I went over for her wedding in 2011, And when we got to the wedding, I said, I'm looking around because everybody had a marked place where they were going to sit. And I'm looking around for my spot. And she came and grabbed me and she said, oh no. She said, the parents sit at the head table. And so that's where I was. I always get teared up when that was such a cool experience. Now, as I start looking at retirement, I'm trying to really be mindful of how much Rotary stuff I take on, because the temptation is to want to take on a lot. I have 11 nieces and nephews. I have no kids of my own, but I have 11 nieces and nephews who I did lots of camping and traveling with when they were growing up. They all have kids now, and they all want their kids to have the Auntie Cathy experience. So I have kids here on a regular basis, and that takes up a fair amount of my time too. So that's kind of my story.
Cathy, no, you know what I was going to say? I've come to know you through Youth Exchange, and you would come to our orientations and do a graduation and send kids off. And we really have appreciated everything you've done for North Star Youth Exchange over the years. So thanks for that.
Yeah, it's been a labor of love, as you well know.
Oh, yes. Yes. Does anyone
Cathy,
have questions?
Oh, go ahead, Chrisanne.
I was going to say, if you have questions, just unmute yourself and talk to Cathy.
Thank you. Yeah, well, mine is more of an observation. I was doing the math, and you were district governor at quite a young age relative to some of the district governors we have. Is that true?
It is. When I went for my governor's training, there was maybe, of the 535 governors, there were maybe, I don't remember the number, about 25 to 28 women. There were not very many women. And in that group of women, I was one of the younger women. And I was approached by a group of men in our district that asked me to run. They had several women run prior to that, and it wasn't the right fit, and they felt maybe I was the right fit for that first. I'm in the roofing business. That's all I deal with is men. So there was somewhat of a natural fit for me to get into that. But yeah, I was a pretty 40 something. I have to do the math too.
Yeah, for sure. Cool, thank you.
Cathy, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
How about this, everyone? Unmute and.
Yeah, I was actually at your home in 2008. Ed Merrick had told me about the Fast for Hope initiative, and I came to your home as the precursor to get ready for my trip to Nicaragua. So thank you for your hospitality.
Yeah, boy, my heart's with Nicaragua right now as they've been bombarded by this devastating hurricane.